The Role of the Adult in Children's Play by Tori, Crystal, Chase and Olivia. The role of the adult in children's play was investigated through 4 different literary articles. The literature found adults have a vital role in children's play, and it comes in many different forms. From the literature, it was discovered adults can influence children's play by observing, interacting, supporting, guiding, and providing a safe environment for them to engage with. Throughout this presentation, these factors will be explored further. Play is a very important part of children's growth and development. When children play, their brains are developing and providing the building blocks that will set them up for the rest of their lives. In the early stages of life, children are gathering information about the world, mastering the use of their own bodies, learning social skills, and creating their own identity to belong in the culture around them.
Play is so incredibly important within the context of early childhood. Ashiabi explains in the article that children need to understand the emotions of their peers because it enables them to perceive the communicative intent of the emotions another person is feeling, meaning that children need to observe the emotions of another child to better understand the message that child is trying to convey through those emotions. Because of these important learning experiences, children should be completely immersed in environments which allow them to observe and experience a wide range of emotions. Breed, Camp and Koppel argued that play is the most developmentally appropriate way for children to learn. However, in most classroom contexts, play is put on the back burner to meet the requirements of the curriculum. Through play, children are able to learn how to read social situations, understand perspectives, negotiate, problem solve, and a range of other important skills.
So basically, after reading through the article, I found that the main purpose of the study that was done was to sort of learn about the role of the staff and personnel as part of the education in the preschool, and their role with play in the preschool. They also covered the practitioner's attitude, so the staff's attitudes and their opinions concerning children's dramatic play, and what the staff viewed as their own role and function in the preschool. They collected a fair bit of data in the journal article, and that was done through questionnaires that were given to all the staff in the area. And what was fascinating is they found that approximately 38% of the observed time the adults were outside the room when the children were playing. So 38% of the time the adults were outside of the room while the play was happening. Some other results were that there were observations that indicated that adult participation was not common, and it was most frequently occurred outside of the theme of the play. They found that most of the educational staff that took part in the survey saw their role as that of an observer. So what I got out of that is they're not really thinking they're a part of the play, they're just observing the play. But most of the staff, however, felt that they should take care that no child be left out of the play, and they should guide the play in the right direction and participate when necessary. throughout the article, they give a little background to play and the traditional roles of the teacher or the educator during play. And what they've said is that play has been seen as serving an important function in children's development, and therefore it makes play a crucial role in early childhood education. They go on to say the frequency and complexity of preschool children's dramatic play depends on a lot of different factors. These can be including the child's maturity level, their background, experiences, conditions within school settings. They do go on, however, to say that preschool teachers have a considerable impact on children's play, and that's through their selection, organisation and presentation of materials and props, their design of the play setting, and their schedule of the day, as well as all the experiences they provide for the children. And what the children do from there is they can incorporate their own perceptions of each of these experiences into their play. Then they go on to talk about the traditional roles of the teacher in children's play, and what they describe as the traditional roles is as a facilitator, which includes setting the stage by providing time, space, material for the children's play. However, they go on to say that recently, or in recent years, the role of the teacher has been changing, and they're more needing to assist the children's play through active participation and intervention.
Adult can be many different people in a child's life. These include an educator, parent, interested observer or participant. They have many roles in children's life, therefore children's play. Children follow the modelling role of the adult through interactions and observations. Adults need to learn that they have different levels of play they engage with and when they should watch before entering. Adults follow the children's interests and help gather more information on these by supporting, encouraging, guiding and promoting play.
I think that over the years and even now, educators' views on themselves and their roles will be different to one another. Some educators will feel that play is entirely up to the child and in their domain, and that adults shouldn't interfere, while other educators will support active adult involvement in the children's play. So yeah, there's just going to be different views wherever you go and whatever the time over the years. But one aspect of the article that popped up, especially when I was reading it, was a point they made about Vygotsky's work and how that has been brought into a lot of discussion about the teacher's role in children's play, because Vygotsky proposed that children's cognitive development is facilitated and enhanced through interaction with more advanced and capable individuals. So that would be such as parents, teachers, or older children.
So while play is so very important, there are many teachers who are unsure what their role is within that play experience. To better understand what that role is, we first have to look at the two types of teacher involvement: inside the flow and outside of the flow. For a teacher to be involved outside of the flow means that the teacher is there to encourage children to reflect and to extend and make modifications to their play. As an example provided in the journal article, a teacher and a few children are sitting, playing, pretending to pack suitcases. The teacher asks the children where they are going. The children reply saying they are going on Christmas vacation. One of the children tell the teacher that their family goes on Christmas vacation every year. The teacher then asks the child questions about the trip. In this scenario, the teacher is extending the play episode to find out more information and to further extend their learning. In the other scenario, a teacher is in the flow, acting as a participant within the play episode. The example provided in Ashiabi's article outlines a scenario in which the teacher is observing children pretending to be doctors and nurses. He enters the play experience pretending to be a character within that play, identifying each child by their character and making suggestions as a character himself. Though they are two very different approaches, each teacher is still extending the learning taking place in the play episode.
A continuum of adult roles in play shows indirect planning for play to direct involvement in play. At one end of this continuum, adults have the role of the manager as they organise the time, space and resources that promote play. From this, a more involved role is used as facilitators to mediate and interpret play. At the other end of the continuum is the direct involvement of the adult, playing an active role in the play. Adults as managers helps show the children what is available to them. It is about organising and reorganising the environment to help make sense for the children. This is how children effectively show ongoing play when they are continuing into other areas for their same game or activity. It shows an organised environment that is attractive, clear and gives a sense of order, which is what children adapt better to. It doesn't cause challenges or frustration, as there shouldn't be anything on high shelves that they can't reach or something they can't get to work, but provides them with exploration to find out what is there and what they can use in play. Having enough time to play is important for children as they need longer periods to play. There is no point getting children started in play and then telling them to pack up soon after. They also need time for changes in play so they can either build on what they are doing, change characters, or even have time to invite others they may have previously excluded. They need to have sufficient physical space with different areas. This could be for quiet activities, things that are noisy, to be active or use movement, to sit still, and for individuals or groups. Children also need spaces so they can come back to things they have previously completed or didn't get time to finish. Also, the materials the children use need to be appropriate for their safety.
The role of the adult in children's play is to find more of a learning ally. As a learning ally, it is the adult's job to offer a safe learning environment, let children follow their own interests, offer support without interrupting, and to observe children and wait before interrupting play. When offering a safe learning environment, adults are the base for children to go off and explore. This is also known as the circle of security. When a child feels safe, they will move away from their base and explore their new surroundings. Children will assess any new situation they encounter, so as the adult, allow as much time as a child needs to feel safe. Children will naturally follow their own interests and want to explore them through play. As a learning ally, adults need to take a step back and allow the child to discover it for themselves. The more the adult stands back and allows the child to direct their own explorations, the more independent the play becomes. To offer support without interrupting the play is a huge benefit to children, and there are many ways to show it. Being their safe base is one way to support children when playing. As long as they can see their base and come back to it, they will feel safe enough to play and explore. Adults know when children are stretching their physical skills, so being close by, just in case, can offer support without interrupting play. Observing children during play and waiting to see what unfolds is another role of the adult during play. Allowing children to have a go and learn from their mistakes is a critical part of their development. If everything is done for them, they are not learning any new skills. No one can do the learning for another person. Learning allies respect the space required for the child to learn by not interrupting unless invited by the child or there is a safety concern.
The adults as facilitators are the next step in the continuum where the adults are partly involved. Adults are mediators when they are intervening in children's play. This can be when needed to resolve conflicts or promote equity, protect them from danger, or when they are reaching frustration tolerance. We need to keep into consideration the differences among children and how these are dealt with that will impact the children. Interpreting play is when adults help interpret actions and intentions leading to the problem the children have, then being able to identify and respond to these. It is about understanding messages that others are trying to send. Equity is where all children have reasonable access. Some situations can challenge children's beliefs, like the blocks are for boys to play with and not for girls. We need to promote gender equity, who has the power in play and for what reasons, and inclusivity to understand the perspectives of others that are influenced by context.
Another important aspect of teachers' involvement in play is the ability to facilitate children's learning about diversity. Bandura argues that children construct knowledge about themselves, their peers, and the world through interactions, meaning that as children interact with one another, they begin to become more aware of each other's differences. This is a prime opportunity for teachers to intervene and extend that interest in diversity. Teachers can encourage this interest by providing children with culturally diverse props and resources. The children can then use these within their play episodes. Many teachers become hung up on teaching children about diversity through learning about holidays. Derman Sparks labels this as a tourist curriculum. For children to truly understand and appreciate diversity, teachers need to provide the right learning environments so children are able to engage with the resources and materials of a diverse nature in an authentic way. As an example, a teacher may provide children with a range of figurines from a range of cultures. Some may have disabilities too. This could be something that sparks a conversation within that play experience, which then develops into a deeper appreciation and awareness.
Adults as players is the last step in the continuum, as they are directly involved in the children's play. This is displayed through different types of play, including parallel play, where the adult is sitting near children using similar materials, modelling particular actions or skills to extend their play. Co-playing is joining in and playing and having a role. The children are in control, but the adult is there to add suggestions. Play tutoring is playing, but the control is with the adults. This is developing complex play where the adult assumes a directive role. Interrupting play is teaching specific information to the children. Complicating play was shown in recent years through the theoretical understanding of Piaget. This way, the adult sets up and observes what the children do through the environment. Now we are extending children's play using the social constructivist view of learning, where learning is in a social context, creating challenging situations for children to extend on what they already know. Scaffolding is providing support as the children may not be able to achieve the outcome on their own. Vygotsky's zone of proximal development relates to this, as it is showing what children can do on their own and what they can do with some guidance and assistance. This extends their knowledge, skills, understandings and competencies. Rogoff preferred the term guided participation for this, which is comparing what is familiar and what is new. This occurs in any context and to any developmental domain.
Another interesting finding that the article made was they indicated that the children's play can be affected by not enough or too much teacher involvement, and that proper training and experience from the teacher was an important factor in the teacher's ability to choose and use play styles effectively. The roles that the teachers undertake have to reflect their values, their beliefs, their philosophies, and their teaching methods are influenced by social and cultural values, so their own social and cultural values. Some of the results that came back from their research was that there was a question they found that was raised of whether or not the roles of preschool personnel varied among different cultures, and therefore it was of interest to investigate if and how adult behaviour and the views of the adult role in play vary among different cultures.
With all of the advantages to play outlined, there is still a large amount of barriers that teachers face in relation to their involvement in play within the classroom. A lot of parents are misinformed of the advantages of learning through play, and therefore opt for a primarily academically influenced classroom, which puts pressures on teachers. Some teachers think that becoming involved in play is interfering and don't see the added benefits of intervening within that play. Other teachers don't believe that being involved in play experiences is part of their job description. Other teachers just do not have the time, resources, or space to provide play experiences within their classrooms.
Many children today have limited time to play, which brings concerns for their physical, mental and intellectual health. Some adults today don't realise that it is the uninterrupted play in which children develop the confidence and responsibility for them to be able to safely play unassisted. Instead, adults are hovering and passing on their fears and concerns to children by not letting them experience the benefits of discovering the world on their own.
Through the use of the questions in the questionnaires as part of this study, the participants were asked if they believed that the educational staff should influence play, and the results of that study showed that 30% said they should do so when the children asked for it, 32.5% when the staff found it necessary, 33.4% mentioned both of the above, and 4.1% gave other reasons for influencing the play. Those who disagreed and did not think that the educational personnel should influence the play mentioned ideas such as the children would be more free if they were left alone, and that children should control their own play, that they would evolve the play by themselves and their imagination would flourish and they would think more independently. So there's a range of different opinions and views of how the educator should influence play there, which is interesting. I found this article very helpful relating to this topic, as it really highlighted and raised the issue of whether or not early childhood educators should try to find the balance between constant interference and participation in the play on one hand, or leaving the children to do their own thing on the other hand. The balance may be hard to identify for some, and everyone's different, but any interference that adults do make is going to affect the child's play. So whether or not they're playing by themselves, where they're learning to manage different circumstances by themselves, However, it is conceivable that the youngest or the less socially competent children, children that may have special needs, they might benefit less from unsupervised play. So, as an educator, as a knowledgeable educator and a trained educator, we have to be sensitive to all children and be aware when they are invasive or they're in need of help, and when they're not, and to be able to determine if the intervention is needed in play. Preschool educators would have to be knowledgeable, and they have to be trained and have experience with finding these cues to determine whether or not to intervene in the play, and what the consequences will be of that intervention.
Adults need to plan to meet the needs, strengths and interests of children through play. This shows the individual child being active participants through interactions to enhance their learning. Adults have a role in children's play through many ways, including keeping observations on the progress of children so that they can get an accurate and complete picture of the child and their voice in play. They also keep evaluations on children's play as the basis of future planning or reporting to parents, or future play experiences. Play can also provide the basis for curriculum. Adults play a critical role in this, as the curriculum needs to be child-centred and in an environment that is both safe physically and psychologically to build a sense of trust. It is important for adults to engage in play as it makes a difference in children's lives.
It is important that play is uninterrupted and children have space to create and discover, for this is the time they are busy developing their brains and finding out what the world has to offer. The role of the adult is to be there to support children when needed and provide a safe environment for them to grow and develop.